Hello, Jennifer.
Hey, Rodney.
It's wonderful to be with you today. And I guess we can talk a little bit about how the Reimagining America project was born. I remember some of the work that we had been doing years before, back in 2014 and 15, with a group of people from Charlotte and a group of people that worked with Alicia Keys. We came up with something called the Truth, Reconciliation, and Anti-Poverty Commission. We took this idea to the White House and we thought about how could we do this on a national level. Unfortunately, aftermath of that, the change in administrations, we sort of let that work sort of evolve with other organizations, but we weren't focused on it. But then there was that night when it seemed necessary that we bring that back. Do you remember that night, Jennifer?
Well, Rodney, I was going to start even earlier. I remember going to Moral Mondays with you when Reverend Barber was still our North Carolina lead. Now he's a national lead. But I remember going to Moral Mondays and how distressed we were to see our state getting harder and harder for Black and Brown people to get basic needs like healthcare. And then, of course, for this particular initiative for the Reimagining America project, you and I were there on the streets on Beatty's Ford Road the night of the murder of George Floyd. And we saw each other. We walked together for a little bit. We saw white people carrying weapons, and we were very concerned about what's going on in our country. And we realized, both of us realized, that we have got to do things differently, that every time there is a police shooting or a racial incident, that things, people grow up in anger, and it's time to try something different. So our Reimagining America project was born.
Yes, and I love that. I mean, I think that was a critical moment when we recognized that unless we find a way to deal with the issue of race in America, it's going to turn to violence. It's going to turn to the way that Reverend Nelson and Mother Joyce Johnson talk about it. We're already in a cold civil war. We're already so politically and economically divided. We're divided over politics and ideology and race. We need to find a way back to each other. And this is a way that we can begin to heal the wounds, a way that we can begin to move towards atonement for past acts, and begin to think about how do we reimagine the system in which we live? How do we reconstruct it and reconceive of it? And how do we make it more just, more fair, more equitable for each and every one of God's children made in God's image?
And it was important for me as a white person to be part of this, that sense of recognition, apology, and atonement, because we need to all be allied in this movement. If we are going to be, a country that is e pluribus unum, out of many, one, we have got to care about and stand up for the worth and dignity of every person. And that takes all of us. So Rodney, I'm really glad to be your partner in this work.
I'm so glad that I can work with you on this great work. I can think of no greater person who is as committed to this kind of work than you. So grateful for your participation, grateful for your partnership, and grateful for the vision that we have of ending the scourge of the lie of race in America.